I'm really excited to introduce you today to Pam. Pam is a Chilean graphic designer married to an American Superman, and she's the mom of 3 little ones. And they're currently living in Massachusetts, where her husband teaches at Gordon College while she's at home homeschooling the kids, and she makes everything calligraphy related. And in her spare time, she is helping her husband with Proyecto Nehemias. I don't know if I said that right. The Nehemiah Project, which is a nonprofit where he's making Christian literature available in Spanish. So welcome, Pam. Did I butcher that completely?
Perfect. Yeah.
My children are bilingual, so I've picked up a little bit from them. But so
I'm trying to raise bilingual kids too.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It is a challenge to raise bilingual children. And you have a leg up because you speak Spanish.
Yeah, and my husband it's his specialty. So second language acquisition and Spanish Romance languages. So
your kids have no excuses. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your family, and just so we can get to know you a little bit.
Okay, so as you said, I'm from Chile. That's a very thin and long country in South America, right next to Argentina. So think Andes Mountains, or whenever you wear Patagonia, anything related with Patagonia, those mountains in the logo are in my country.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the central part of, since it's really long, it has very different weathers, but it's upside down. So the north is a really, really dry desert. And then as you go south to the central part, is more similar to Northern California.
Okay.
And then if you keep going south, it's going like California and up. So think Oregon and then Washington.
Okay.
And then Alaska might be a little bit like Patagonia.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yes, it's all those hemispheres, right? Or
yeah.
Flip it all around.
So they are in spring right now, and they have Christmas in summer, which is pretty.
Yeah, different. So how did you get from Chile to Massachusetts?
Oh, do you want me to
briefly
talk about the stops before Massachusetts, or you want me to tell you how I got to the States?
How did you get to the States? Yeah.
Okay, so Jeff and I met at church in Chile, and he was working there for 10 years. And so we married, we had kids. We had 2 of our 3 kids in Chile, and he was working for a Christian, not a Christian university, for liberal arts school called Middlebury College.
Okay.
That's based in Vermont. And then he was directing the study abroad program for Chile and Mexico for a while, but then that closed. And so it was pretty intense. So you went to bed every night and you didn't know whether the kids were going to call you at 3 a.m. telling you that they were in really bad trouble. And he was in charge of that. So after a while, he took a break. He took a sabbatical, and we went to Trinity, where we met. So
yes,
we went to Illinois.
Chicago.
Yeah, we went to Illinois, and he started a PhD in intercultural studies because it was related to what he was doing in Chile. And then we decided to stay and step off the Middlebury position. So we stayed. He kept going with his PhD, and then after a few moves, here we are in Massachusetts. He's now teaching Spanish at Gordon College, which is a Christian college.
So your kids are very multicultural and well-traveled.
Very well-traveled.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, so tell us, we want to talk today with you about the thing that you know, which is hand lettering. You do some beautiful, beautiful work. And so tell me, have you always been artistic?
So I'm a graphic designer. My profession is I studied graphic design at college.
Okay.
And then when I was little, I was always like making quills and writing with ink, and then I ended up studying graphic design, which is pretty awesome. I didn't know. I mean, when I was in high school, I was like, should I study law, or should I be a lawyer, or should I study business? or, it was that kind of what
Okay.
path should I take. And then I ended up being a graphic designer. And that in college, we had to write with dip pen calligraphy. Our notes for college were dip pen calligraphy.
Okay.
So I wish I had kept something from those times, because I wish I could see how I was doing at that time.
Yeah.
But that was dormant for ages, and I worked in the corporate world, marketing departments, brand agencies, and until I married Jeff and we moved out of Santiago. And in Chile, most of graphic design positions are in the capital, in Santiago.
Okay.
So we moved to the coast. So I became a full-time mom. I started working with him, helping him, and I became a mom and a full-time.
Yeah. It never ends.
Until it was the same year that we moved to the States. A couple months before, a Chilean friend who was living in the States, and she was also living in Trinity, had a miscarriage, and her mom told me, would you write a letter for her? And I have never been through that situation, so I didn't really know what do you say to a person who had a miscarriage. So I remember a verse that Jeff loves, that is one of his favorite verses from the Bible, that says, I will wipe away all the tears from all faces. So I decided to write it in a pretty way. And then I discovered modern calligraphy. And I said, so I did something that I'm pretty sure looks awful, but 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago already. So I had that feeling like I need to master this. I need to do it. I want to do it nicely, So I started self-teaching myself, and I found ink from my college years, and I found dip pens, and
it wasn't dried up.
It wasn't dried up. I still have it. And I started relearning, and it was like digging and all that. Muscle memory.
Yeah. So you call it modern calligraphy, and I would call it hand lettering. So that's interesting. So it kind of gets
both things exist. So I do lettering and calligraphy. So lettering is more like when you draw something, a piece, and you put like a banner, or you shade the letters, you try to make them 3D or with shading, or that kind of thing. That's called lettering. And then if you think of more like traditional calligraphy, like your name on a university
diploma,
that would be calligraphy.
Okay.
So, but there's like, among all the kinds of calligraphy, because there are many different styles, I started with something called modern calligraphy.
Okay.
That is more like freestyle, that breaks all the rules of traditional calligraphy. And then I am started like slowly, but maybe surely, going more to the traditional style and learn more the fundamentals of the copperplate. One of the traditional styles called copperplate.
Okay.
English round. And it's like, go back to the basics and learn the rules first, and then start breaking them.
Okay. Yeah. So in the modern calligraphy that you're doing, there's a lot of freedom to be artistic, and you don't have to really worry. So that's what we see a lot of when it's like the gather signs with flourishes and all that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So
copperplate has a lot of flourishing. So all those lines, all those swishes, or all those like vines that you see that go out of the letters and fill the space, those are called flourishes.
Okay.
And one of the things that draw me to copperplate calligraphy is that they have that piece of flourishing thing. So
okay. Yes. I admire that you can do it. I can't even handwrite legibly. So
But it's two different things, and calligraphers always show their handwriting, and it looks like anyone's handwriting. It's just a different thing.
Okay.
It's like singing in the shower or singing in the opera. It's different.
Okay. Well, that's a good analogy because, that encourages me that I could potentially learn to do this.
Everyone can do it. Yeah, you just need to try and have determination and patience. And then there's things that going to make it easier or harder for you. I'm a left-handed
Okay.
person, so that makes it harder. And then it makes it harder if you are like an overrider or when
Mm,
you write from below the line, the baseline.
okay.
I'm an overwriter, so I put my hand on top of my writing and then smudge everything.
Ah.
Yeah.
So did you have to learn to reposition your hand for
Yeah,
this?
so that's
Okay.
the process I'm going through now. If I write like draft with pencil, I will do it normal with the normal position. But then if I ink it, you twist it 90 degrees and you write from just like Chinese calligraphy from top to bottom,
Okay.
and with the baseline facing to your left hand.
Okay.
So the descenders, the G's go towards the left, and the ascenders go towards the right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's pretty intense, like learning how to write and form the shapes of the letters and the spacing and
Yeah.
everything, but completely 90 degrees. In 90 degrees angle, it's
Okay.
really confusing. So
Yes. Oh, yeah, I bet. So you're really drawing. I remember once my kids asked me, how do I draw this word? And that's really what you're doing is you're
yeah,
drawing a word.
yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
different
what
than just writing.
what are you doing now with this skill? How are you using it?
So right now it's all about Christmas season. So you live like 2 months ahead,
Yeah.
and I'm getting ready for Christmas season. I'm full on Christmas ornaments,
Okay.
and
Because
but
it's November when we're recording this, and this
yeah,
might not air till after in January or February. But so so you're 2 months ahead all the time.
yeah, you have to, and that's one of the things. I'm a Latin American, and that's different.
Okay.
So every year I was saying like I should do something. I should do something with this. I should do something with this, but I started really thinking about it like 1 week or 2 weeks before, and Americans have it planned, and they have their orders ready, and they have their product launches, and then after 4 Christmas or 4 Thanksgiving in the States, I realized that Americans set up the tree the day after Thanksgiving, and that's like the day so you have
Right.
to have your ornaments before that, because otherwise everyone's not going to buy them. Like,
Yes. Well,
so
and it's
I don't. Mhm.
I was to say it's true. I order my Christmas ornaments. I do give one for the kids every year, and I'm ordering those in August, September, so that
Yeah,
I
I'm late.
have them.
I'm late. I should have done this in July.
Christmas in July, right? Oh,
That's why
so
you have Hallmark movies in July about Christmas, because
right? Yeah.
calligraphers are making.
So right now your focus is Christmas ornaments, but when Christmas ornaments are done,
Right
what
now,
other types of
yeah,
things do you do?
I do any kind of text that people want, and it's usually pieces of scripture
Okay.
that I am commissioned to write. So I will do them in a nice piece of paper and with nice ink and dip pen, or some home decor like um, a welcome sign, or a watercolor of the front of your house, um, that kind of thing.
So do you just do the drawing or do you ever do it like painted on a big board or I mean is it just ink and paper or do you do other mediums?
Yeah, like wood signs or mugs,
Okay.
sweatshirts, whatever you can put calligraphy on.
You do it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool. It's like the sky is really the limit with anything now.
The
So
sky is the limit, and the problem is that your house looks like words everywhere.
that's right. It's a little busy.
Yeah.
So if a mom wanted to learn how to do this,
Mhm.
you sent me some resources, so I'll put those in the show notes. But tell us a little bit about where you would recommend somebody goes to get started.
Yeah, there's tons of things, and recommendations are good because you have so many resources on YouTube and whatnot. But when I started, I found this really, and I think it's like the to-go place for everyone. It's called the Postman's Knock, and she
Okay.
has Lindsay Bugby, and she has a website and also Instagram and YouTube channels and everything. And what I like about her is that she has a lot of freebies. So she has a lot of practice cheats that you can download for free. And if you want to dig in more into something specific, you can buy her pro practice guides. So that's like the to-go source for everyone that starts with deep pen calligraphy. Then you can do this with an iPad and and an Apple Pencil, and
Okay.
it's called and an app called Procreate.
Okay.
So that's on the computer. I mean, on the iPad.
Hmm.
That's digital lettering, and there's a couple people that are more specialized on that. There's this lady called the Happy Ever Crafter that has it's more like crafts in general, but she does a lot of calligraphy. So she has a lot of freebies too, and she has tons of videos on YouTube, and you can search for her online. You will put the link in your show notes. But
Yeah.
then for things more specific like copperplate calligraphy, I will leave the link in your show notes because I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name. She's not from here.
Okay.
But she does really beautiful work with copperplate calligraphy.
Okay.
And you can find her on Instagram, and she also has a website, and you can download her beginner guides to copperplate. But you can also watch her on Instagram, and you can see all the videos that she posts where she's flourishing letters super
Okay.
beautifully. Yeah.
And it sounds like, well, first of all, it sounds like this is a very inexpensive hobby to get started in because there's so many free resources. But it sounds like with the videos, it's like having a teacher right there. You're not
Yeah.
trying to have someone describe to you how to do it. You can watch them do it as many
Yeah,
times
and
as
then
you
if
want.
you are super like consistent and you're determined in doing something in a short period of time, there's this online resource that are classes for whatever what's the name of it? I will try to remember the name and leave it in your show notes.
Okay.
But they give you like 1 or 3 months for free,
Hmm.
and they have classes for whatever you can imagine. And there's a lot of calligraphers that offer their classes there, so that is a more tailored way to
Do
like
it
a
also.
little bit more one-on-one way to learn
Okay.
something. Yeah.
Is it Creative Bug perchance?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No.
That's one that I have seen those on too. So I think there's probably a lot of great resources
Yeah.
for that.
There's like different platforms, but this one was like the first one that started, and a lot of calligraphers have their courses there.
There.
I
Okay.
always sign up for things and then I forget, and the kids, so
Right, right. Is this something though that your kids are learning? Is it conducive to doing this with children?
it is horrible trying to do it with children. Because they will just like mommy, and they will move my hand, and it's like,
Okay. Are you trying to
like,
teach
give me
them how to do
my
it?
space. I have my pen. Don't
Yeah,
touch me.
that's right.
Yeah,
The code of yeah,
yeah, like bubble space.
right. Yes. Yeah.
So I try to do it when they are asleep. But now that they are a little bit bigger, and Emma is still napping, so I will use her nap times, and I will tell the kids like break time. You can go play outside,
Yeah.
and they can play outside. We live in a very safe, it's kind of a cul-de-sac. It's the end of a street. So
So they have space to play. Have you
yeah.
tried teaching them at all, or are they interested in learning?
So Danny is just 5 and he's starting forming letters. And because of the reading piece of writing,
Mhm.
it's easier for them to start with print, you know.
Okay.
So you teach them print first and then you start with cursive. Lisa is like, she hates writing, but she loves calligraphy and she loves mommy's pens because
Mm.
you said it's very inexpensive, but you start buying one pen and then you want them all and all the colors, you know, and they launch
Yes.
a different color and there's this new brand and you want to try it and you want them all, you know. So
Well, I said it was inexpensive to get started. I didn't say it was
yeah,
inexpensive to stay.
yeah. So she wants to write with mommy's pens, and I love cursive, and she's like a little lady. So
Aw,
she will try to do what I'm doing and try to imitate what I'm writing. And it's like, okay, go ahead, do it, you know,
yes.
because it's good for her to learn how to write cursive and to learn how to read cursive. So if she's interested, because it's two different worlds, and especially because calligraphy, it's fancier than just regular cursive writing. It's hard for them to read. It's hard
Yes.
for them to learn how to read cursive. So sometimes she can figure out what it says, and sometimes she can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good that I'm practicing. It's also good because they know that I practice a lot, and she gets frustrated with handwriting.
Yes.
So it's good for them to see that mommy's doing something that requires a lot of practice too, not just for them, but for everyone.
Yes, yeah, to keep working at it.
Yeah.
So is there an age, because that's a good point, if they're little and they're just learning to print and they're
Mhm.
learning cursive, is there a great age to introduce this?
So some teachers start teaching their kids cursive from the beginning. Since Lisa was in public school for a while and she learned the print alphabet first, I just kept doing it. And then some people say it's good to start introducing it in 2nd grade.
Okay.
So Lisa's in 2nd grade right now.
Okay.
She Her bone age is younger than her actual age.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've heard, but there's some bones in her hand that solidify at certain age. And a toddler, the hand of a toddler and the hand of a 7-year-old kid is completely different.
Yes.
So they lack a lot of bones that grow and solidify later on. So I guess that maybe because of that, she is reticent to grab the pen and try to do things.
Okay, that makes
So,
sense.
yeah, so I'm try not to push her.
Mhm.
She still needs to make progress, you know, but
Yeah.
I try not to push her too much. And I'm gonna start next year on 3rd grade. When I see that she has mastered the print,
Yes.
she can write semi-consistently, like on a baseline, you know?
Yeah. But
Uh,
sounds like these pens though are a real draw for her to, no pun intended, for her to want to be
right.
working on it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's something that you can connect with your child too. So
Yes.
she loves that special time with mommy. You know,
Yes.
whatever we do, even if we go to a store, just like that special time with mommy. Emma can be there, but just like
Right. Yeah.
and
Girls
she
only.
loves Danny, and they play together all day long.
Yeah.
But I think she remembers when she was the only one there.
Yes.
And she resents the fact that now there is a baby and her life was never the same anymore.
Yep.
And then when Emma arrived, the same thing happened to Danny. So Emma's like her avenger, you know? Emma's avenging her.
That's right. She
She's
did to
doing
him
to
what
Danny
he
the
did to
same thing
me.
that Danny did to her. So she doesn't mind Emma being there.
That's
But
funny.
um, if Danny's not there, and I would let her play with my, because you're bigger and you
Yes.
can be gentle with them and you're not gonna fray the tips, so okay, you can use this one. And she's super happy, like, oh, I love
Oh,
having time with
I love
that,
it.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Well, we're starting to get to the end here of our time, but one question that I ask all of my guests is, what is your favorite gadget?
Gadget. And
Yes.
so are you
Does,
talking
yeah, it
whatever?
doesn't have to be with hand lettering or anything, but
Uh-huh.
what is the one thing that you can't live without, or you tell everybody you've got to have this thing?
Oh, I don't know if I brag so much about it, but we do take our NutriBullet everywhere with us.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if that counts as a gadget.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have the little bag, the carrying bag, and we take it if we go on vacation. We go with it,
That's
and
great.
if we move, things can get in a storage, but we move with the
That,
NutriBullet.
that's in the car. That goes.
Yeah, that goes with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. So do you just make smoothies with it, or do you make soups? What do you make with it?
For soups, I tried, if I have a blender with glass jar, I would
Mhm.
prefer to use the blender.
Okay.
Because of the amount and being hot,
Yeah.
the NutriBullet, the jar doesn't gets like cracky if you put hot liquids in it.
Okay.
But if we buy coffee beans instead of ground coffee, I will use it
To grind the
to
coffee.
grind the coffee, and you can also make nut butters if you are
Okay.
patient enough to stop and let it rest for a while.
Yes.
It's very good. It has like a good knife and good speed, so it will be good for that.
Well, that's brilliant. I learned something. I never would have thought to use it, particularly for the coffee beans. So
Yeah,
that's great.
you don't have to have a coffee grinder,
Yeah.
the coffee
Well,
bean.
that's
So
good
it
to know.
saves one space in the kitchen out of
Yeah.
all the things that you have in the kitchen.
Right. Well, that's great. Well, how can people connect with you? Where will they find you?
So my handler is Letter to Flourish, and you can find me at Letter to Flourish both on Facebook and on Instagram.
Excellent.
And yeah, that's the way. Also, my email is lettertoflourish@gmail.com, so you can also shoot me an email, or on Instagram to just shoot me a DM, or on Facebook.
Excellent.
Facebook opened the shops, the Facebook shops, and I'm trying that option. So this week I went live with the shop, and you can go there and directly buy not in January, but
Right. Yes. Yes. But see what you have available at that point. And you said that you're offering our listeners a 20% discount with a
yeah.
promo code,
Mhm,
which I'll put also on the screen and in the
mhm.
show notes. So that sounds great. You do beautiful work, and I always enjoy when you post your latest thing on Facebook, and I can see it. And um, I wish I could do what you do, but you've encouraged me that with some practice, I could start to learn.
Yeah, and you can download tons of free resources, free guides that you can start just tracing. And you don't need, there is something called brush pens that have like a flexi tip that you
Okay.
can write thinner or thicker. But
Hmm.
you don't even need those. If at first you can just start doing something called fall calligraphy, that
Ah, okay.
you double your lines to make thicker strokes, some parts, and kind of shading. So you can start doing that, and when you get the hang of that, like a little bit how to have a style in your calligraphy, or
Mm,
where to shade, you can get your pens, your brush pens.
that's great. That's
Yeah.
a great place to start.
And
Well, Pam, thank you so much for joining
thank
me
you for
today.
inviting me.